You know what's scarier than Halloween? November. Yeah, I said it. Because in October, you expect the creepy stuff. You're mentally prepared. But November? November is when you let your guard down. The decorations come down, the candy's gone, and you think you're safe. Wrong. November is when the real horror stories happen because nobody sees them coming. Today, I'm bringing you 3 true November horror stories that'll make you wish Halloween lasted all year, because at least then, you'd know to keep the lights on. Let's get into it. Story 1. The Pumpkin Land Predator. Picture this. You're 7 years old. You're wearing a cheap Scream costume from Party City. Life is simple. You're at a local amusement park called Pumpkin Land. Yeah, that's a real thing. And it's the Saturday before Halloween. There's candy, rides, and pumpkins everywhere. It's basically a kid's paradise, right? Wrong. Our storyteller, let's call him Jake, is there with his family. His brothers want to hit the haunted house first because, priorities. But Jake needs to use the bathroom. Classic. So his dad takes him, waits outside, and disappears. Now, 7-year-old Jake is standing in the middle of a crowded amusement park, alone, panicking. And that's when he shows up. A stranger, smiling, asking where his parents are. And here's where it gets really messed up. This guy takes Jake's hand and starts leading him toward the parking lot. But wait, it gets worse. The guy pulls out his ancient Nokia brick phone. Remember those? And has a conversation with someone. Jake hears him say, "Oh, I'm with him right now," while staring right at Jake with this creepy smile. The guy tells Jake his dad is waiting by the parking lot. But here's the thing. Even at 7 years old, Jake wasn't stupid. His dad didn't have a cell phone. And how would this random dude even know who Jake was when he was wearing a full mask? As they're approaching the exit, literally about to leave the park, Jake spots a female employee and starts yelling, "Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me," until she pays attention. Then he drops the bomb. "I don't know him. Please help." The creep tries to defend himself, but the employee isn't having it. She takes Jake to use the loudspeaker to find his parents. And the guy, he bolts, just walks away super fast into the parking lot and vanishes like a ghost. When Jake's parents find him and hear what happened, they're furious. They demand to see surveillance footage. And guess what? The park claimed they had 0 security cameras. In what universe does an amusement park full of kids not have cameras? Jake was too young to understand how close he came to being a statistic that day. But looking back as an adult, absolutely terrifying. So that's nightmare fuel for anyone who's ever been to an amusement park. But you know what's even creepier? When the horror doesn't come from strangers, it comes from something that shouldn't be moving at all. Buckle up, because this next story involves scarecrows, and I'm not talking about the Wizard of Oz kind. Story 2. The Living Scarecrows. Our second storyteller, we'll call her Maya, gets shipped off to her Uncle Ronnie's farm in mid-October, while her mom and stepdad are on their honeymoon. Now, Uncle Ronnie's farm is your classic wooden farmhouse situation. Lots of land, lots of crops, and lots of scarecrows. Maya's staying in a spare bedroom that overlooks the cornfields, where 3 scarecrows stand watch. They're actually pretty well made. Uncle Ronnie put in the work. Flannel shirts, straw hats, sweatpants. They look real, Remember that detail. It's important. One night, Maya's chilling in her room on her laptop when, crack, a rock hits her window. Not gently, intentionally. She freaks out, closes her laptop to make the room pitch black, and prays it doesn't happen again. It happens again. Second rock, same window. Maya's heart is in her throat. She waits in the darkness, then finally creeps to the window to peek out. There's a full moon. Outside, light is on, and she can see one of the scarecrows perfectly. That's when she sees it. The scarecrow's arm waves at her. Not a little flutter from the wind. A full-on wave. Like, hey, what's up? See you soon. Kind of wave. Then the arm drops back down to its side, like nothing happened. Maya sprints to her cousin's room, but he's asleep. She checks her aunt and uncle, both asleep. She goes back to her window and stares at that scarecrow for over a minute, waiting for it to move again. It doesn't. She convinces herself she was just too high from smoking with her cousin earlier and goes to bed. The next morning, her uncle storms into the house yelling, "Where did the goddamn scarecrows go?" All three scarecrows are gone, just missing. That's when Maya tells them about the waving, the rocks, and suddenly it all clicks. Someone threw those rocks. Someone saw her looking out the window, and someone was posing as a scarecrow. But wait, it gets so much worse. That same night, around 1 or 2 a.m., the doorbell rings continuously. Uncle Ronnie and the cousin run downstairs. Maya follows. They open the door. All three scarecrows are standing on the porch, covered in red paint, mimicking blood. The police call it a Halloween prank by some immature kids. But here's the thing. What if it wasn't? What if whoever was out there that night had a much darker plan? What if Maya looking out that window was the only thing that stopped something worse from happening? Sweet dreams. Okay, so we've covered amusement park predators and psychotic scarecrow impersonators. But what if I told you the next story combines both the terror of an unknown stranger and something that defies all logic? Yeah, this one's different. This one will mess with your head. Because when you can't trust your own eyes, what can you trust? Story 3. The Shadow by the Fire. November. The leaves are perfect shades of yellow and orange. Our final storyteller is camping in the woods with his girlfriend near her dad's upstate home. They've got the tent, the campfire, the whole aesthetic autumn experience. Everything's going great. They're sitting by the fire, eating, talking, living their best fall vibes. Then they head into the tent for the night, keeping the fire going for warmth and safety. That's when they hear it. Leaves crunching in the distance, getting louder, getting closer. Now here's the thing about campfires. They usually keep wildlife away. So when these footsteps keep approaching and they sound bipedal like human footsteps, that's when the couple realizes they're not alone. The crunching stops. Right by the fire, they see a shadow on the tent wall, the outline of someone sitting in one of their chairs. Just sitting there, silently. Our storyteller decides to be brave. He peeks his head out of the tent, ready to confront whoever this is. Nobody's there. Both chairs are empty. He scans the area. Nothing. Trees, darkness, but no person. His girlfriend starts urgently whispering from inside the tent, asking what he wants. Our guy crawls back inside and says, "There's no one there." She responds, "What are you talking about?" I see him in the chair right now. He looks at the tent wall. Sure enough, the shadow is still there, still sitting. But when he goes back outside, still no one in the chair. That's when he tells his girlfriend, "We need to go. Right now." They bolt from the tent. She sees the empty chair and screams. They run through near total darkness toward the mobile home. And then they hear it. A horrible groaning sound from somewhere in the trees. Then a loud crash of a branch. They run faster. They find the car by spamming the lock button until they hear the horn. They get inside the mobile home, lock every door, and hide under the covers like kids. Our storyteller stays up all night, convinced whatever was out there followed them. He thinks he hears clicking at the front door, but maybe it's just paranoia. The next morning, they go back for their camping stuff. Everything's where they left it, except for one thing. The chair where they saw the shadow. It's knocked over. They grab their stuff and never go camping in those woods again. So, there you have it. 3 November horror stories that prove October doesn't have a monopoly on nightmare fuel. Whether it's a predator at a pumpkin festival, scarecrows that won't stay still, or shadow figures that exist between reality and impossibility. November is when people drop their guard. And that's exactly when things get scary. Look, I don't know about you, but after researching these stories, I'm keeping all my lights on this month. Maybe next month too. Actually, let's just leave them on until Christmas. If you enjoyed getting thoroughly creeped out today, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a horror story. Drop a comment below telling me which story freaked you out the most. Was it the amusement park predator, the living scarecrows, or the shadow figure that breaks the laws of physics? And if you have a true November horror story, share it in the comments. Who knows? Maybe you'll be featured in the next video. Stay safe out there, horror fam. And remember, just because Halloween is over doesn't mean you should stop checking under your bed. I'll see you in the next one. If we both survive November,